Last session we have discussed what is constant and types of constants and some of the examples and examples for different types of constants and how to define a symbolic constant. Everything we have discussed in the last session. I know we will try to understand the another identifier, that is a variable. As we discussed in the last session, constant means the value which will assign some value, but it will not change throughout the program. So, but variable again is a name, but you can change or it may change during the program. So, that is what a variable is. Variable is basically to define or we call it as data name that can be used or that is used, that name is used to store some value or the data. It might be anything, whether it may be a string value or it may be a number, or it may be number, again it may be integer value or float value, anything. So, basically variable is a data name which is used to store some data value, or it may be a symbolic names for storing the program computations or the calculations, or even if you want to store the result, that will be stored under the particular variable name. Basically by using this variable name will store something. We can say the container, storage, variable is nothing but container. So, how much I need to store, that will decide by your data type. Okay. So, whether it may be integer, yes, if you have used 2 bytes or 4 bytes, if it is a float, yes, you keep your with the numbers with decimal values based on that 4 byte. Or it may be a character, you just store this. So, that is how even you can change the value during the it may change during the program. Variable is a data name which is used to store some data value or symbolic names for storing program computations and even the results. And the value of the variable, that is what we have discussed, value of the variable can change during the execution. If I say beginning, if I say int a is equal to 10 or int number 1 is equal to 10, int number is equal to 2 is equal to 20, int result is equal to num 1 plus num 2. So, print that sum, then immediately I can just continue with same, num 1 is equal to 100, num 2 is equal to 200. See, first two statements we have declared num 1, num 2 as 10 and 20. After computing or after adding those 10 and 20, again I am assigning new set of values to the same variables, that num 1 contains now 100, num 2 contains 200. So, that is what it can change or it may change during the execution. The rule for naming the variable same as what we have discussed during the identifier session, the same rules. Identifier is nothing but it is a user defined word which can be used to define a variable name, or it may be a constant, right. That means, whatever the rules we have discussed to define an identifier, the same rules will be applicable for variable. The rule of naming the variable is same as name the identifier. Before used in the program, it must be declared. Suppose if I want to use some variable, that has to be declared, that must be declared before using it. Declaration of the variable specifies its name, that name of the variable, and what type of data, because as I am container, I need to store something, but what type of data and how much, that will be decided by data type. That is the reason whenever you define or declare a variable, data type is also required. So, range to how much range or data range to store the values. Now, that always depends on the data type. That is the reason declaration of the variable specifies name, data types and range of the value that variables can store, which always depends on the data type. So, see the example, a is a variable of type integer, c character. See, end of the declaration we must use semicolon, that is a termination statement. Float f, these are the different examples or syntax to define a variable. Variable initialization, when we assign any initial value to the variable during the declaration. So, here we have just declared, we have not initialized, we have not assigned any value to this variable. So, always whenever you assign any initial value to the variable, whether it may be a, c or f, during the declaration, that is is called initialization. Now it is a declaration. Initialization is not done. Whenever you do that initialization, you assign some initial value to that particular variable. So when variable is declared but contain undefined value, then it is called garbage value. That means you have declared here variable, you have not initialized anything. So some garbage value will be assigned. That is what, when variable is declared but contain undefined value, there is no value defined, then it is called garbage value, which is not defined or which is undefined, we call it as a garbage value. The variable is initialized with the assignment operator. Always whenever you assign or initialize something, we use assignment operator, such as data type, variable name is equal to constant. This is what the syntax. Data type, whether it may be int or float or char, variable name, as I said, num1, num2 or some, num1 is equal to 10, constant is 10. Example, you see here, int is a data type, a is a name of the variable, equal is the assignment operator, 20, the value we are assigning here. Similarly, int a, here it is just declared int a, we have not initialized. Now in the next statement we are using a is equal to 20, that is also fine. So this is these are the ways we initialize a variable. So another concept called expression. Expression is nothing but it is a combination of whether it may be a variable or constant, operators and function call. An expression is a combination of variable, constant, operators and function call, and in other ways we call it as expression is a combination of operator and operands, a plus b. What is plus? It is an operator. A, b, those are operands. A contains something, b contains something. So we are trying to perform something. What is that perform? That operator will decide. Here a plus b, plus is an operator, it will say addition. A and b has some value, it is trying to add those two. Expression, we also define expression is a combination of variable, constant, operators and function call. So otherwise an expression is a combination of operator and operands. That operator may be an arithmetic or logical or maybe relational. So if it is an, I think going forward in the operator section we will discuss in detail what are the arithmetic operators, relational, all those things. So this is an example for an expression. See, x plus y, what is this x? It is an operand. What is an y? This is an operand. Combination operands and operator, plus is an operator. Combination of operator and operands, x plus y. Or in this, with respect to this, combination of variable, x is one variable, constant, we do not have a constant, it is not mandatory to have, maybe you can x plus 5, 5 is a constant, x is a variable and then operator plus. Okay. If we put this in one function, that is a function call. So as of now we do not know what is function, but try to understand expression in a simple statement, x plus y is equal to that I am assigning after this expression, assigning into the variable int z. This is an expression. So this is arithmetic expression. If you say relational, that is what? Arithmetic, this is an arithmetic. If you say logical, a greater than b, a less than b, those are all logical operation, right? So relational operations. Relation, I am just comparing, okay? Equal to, I am just checking whether both the a and b equal or not. See here, this is a function call, function of a and b. Don't worry about this, we will discuss functions in detail, but even this is also we call it as an expression. So simple way, an expression is a combination of variable, operators, constants and function call. In simple way, other words, combination of operators and operands. Operator might be an arithmetic, logical, relational. These are some examples for arithmetic expression, relational, logical and function call expression. So expression consisting of entirely a constant values are called as constant expression. If I say this one, 121 plus 17 minus 110, see this entire expression consists of constant plus operators. So there is no variable at all. 121 is a constant, 17 is a constant, 110 is a constant, but in between we have some operators plus and minus. It's called as constant expression. So but if j were declared to be an integer variable, then the expression 180 plus 2 minus j would not be a constant expression, because 180 is constant, 2 is a constant, but j is not a constant, it is a variable, j has some value, this we cannot call it as, or it will not be a representation of a constant expression. So, this is what simple understanding about what exactly the variable is and expression is.